Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
How much music do we listen to? How much music do we own?
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready? Ready for your close-up?
Of course.
Okay, so first of all, why don't you tell me, how did I meet you? How did we meet? And your name is? Tell everybody.
My name is Malachi Liu, and you know who this is. If you don't, I have no idea why you're watching this. But, so basically I was on WFMU recently on the Telephonic Todd Show, and I got put on there because some people that know me, they were really nice, and they were like, you know, we want to get him on WFMU. And they had connections and stuff.
And that's the Fordham University station, right?
It used to be. Now it's just an independent freeform station. Okay. Great freeform radio. It definitely lives up to the tagline.
Okay, and so I was sitting home and I got a text message from a friend of mine that said, boy, there's a kid on FMU talking about records and different pressings, and it's like he sounds like you. I mean, you know, but he's probably like 15 years older. How old are you?
12.
12. I said, well, that's really cool. And then he texted me about 2 minutes later. He just name-checked you. And then I got your name, and then I started noticing that you were commenting on a lot of my...
Yes, my profile picture is the album cover for Radiohead's In Rainbows. So you can find me lurking in the comment section of this video.
and so, how many people your age are into vinyl like you are? Because you're really into it.
0.
Don't say 0. They don't want to hear 0. Some, right? What do your friends think?
I don't really think they have much of a preference. I mean, you know, they listen, like some of my friends, they'll listen to music from like their parents' CDs. Some of them have streaming like Google Play, but a lot of kids I know, some which are my friends, and some which are complete jerks that shall not be mentioned. And they just listen to stuff off of YouTube. They listen to these 192 kilobits per second files on YouTube for music. So let's say they're listening to the new Kendrick Lamar album. I know this isn't like the actual album, but you get the idea. So they're listening.
It isn't? What is it?
This is the collector's edition with the track list in reverse order.
Right, but I can listen on Tidal to the album. Okay.
But basically, there's a song from this called Humble, and that was a big hit. And they'll go onto YouTube and just listen to the audio from the music video for Humble. And they are getting really poor audio quality, and they're not even hearing the 13 other tracks on the album unless they listen to the 2 or 3 other singles that came out from this great record. So they're not getting the full experience. They just listen song by song, and like he's discussed before, they're just going to lose all their music. And it's basically their own fault if they just decide not to really invest much time or energy in it.
At what point in your young life did you realize that you were really interested in, that sound was important to you, that it made a difference in your pleasure of listening to music?
To me, sound kind of came, I don't know, I've lost track, maybe a year ago.
that short of it? Really?
Well, here's the thing.
You made it for lost time.
I mean, I've been into sound for a while, and I'm like, you know, I do want to try to get good sound out of this, and I've been buying, like, I buy some of the audiophile records. Like, I was 10 years old when I bought the Bob Dylan Bringing It All Back Home stereo put out by MoFi on 45 RPM.
That's good.
I've always thought that sounded really good.
It does.
Even if I paid $50 for it, even if I can get it for free on YouTube, not good. I still was like, you know, I hear that this company, Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, is really great, so I'm going to try to get this Bob Dylan record that I want from Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. And I've been in the sound a while, and I'm like, but I haven't really been super, super, super invested in it until much more recently.
Yeah.
But
and do you try to share this with your friends? Do they?
I tell them, you know, I've got this new record and it sounds really good and I enjoy it, and sometimes I'll be like, I just bought this 80s UK pressing of Yellow Submarine and it sounded absolutely terrible. Which it did. I still have it. You can buy it for $25 off of me.
Because
just so
you never can tell. Sometimes you buy a record, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee it's going to sound good because it's on a record.
Yeah. And there's so many variables in this. And
But you know a lot. You've expressed to me a lot of, you understand differences in pressings and different country of origin, and
yep.
and you read the forums. I mean, you're really into this.
Yes. And of course I watch his videos.
Yeah.
And I mean the first thing I ever heard about these giant things called records was when I was probably 4 or 5. I was in pre-K, and the teacher who retired a few years ago, she was really nice. Her name was Miss Zimney, and she had a collection of records in the classroom of just children's songs like Wheels on the Bus. I don't know any others at this point
And
in
was
my
she
life.
playing? Did you have a turntable there to play the record?
She had this giant wooden turntable that would
Wow.
play it. I don't know if it was any good though. It was a wooden turntable. You could tell it was old.
Yeah.
And she would be like, if it's okay if I use one of yours. Well, let's just pretend that
Just
right
don't put
here
your
is the floor.
fingerprints all over it. You know what
Of
I'm
course
saying?
I won't. But she was basically so much static on this record.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Preston United for all I know. Wait. Intermission. Can I find the U in here? I cannot.
I don't think so. I don't think they did
This was pressed at GZ.
That's right. You can tell, right? You can tell by the stamps.
Yep.
Yep.
It's got the B for optimal, hand etched. And that's got all the GZ stuff. I maybe the European was at optimal and.
Well,
yes,
it can't be
GZ.
both. It's either optimal or GZ. It can't be both.
Yeah.
Let's see who mastered it. Can we see who mastered it? I think
It says SS in the dead wax. I don't know
Yeah.
who that is.
SS. That's not.
Not anyone we know as being good.
I mean, SST I know, but I don't know
Yeah.
SS. We'll have to look that up and see who it is. Okay, so you were saying.
So basically, she'd be she'd hold these giant black things up. I'm sorry, because this is a clear record, but you get the idea. She'd hold these black things down on the floor. She'd be like that, and she'd be like when we were growing up, we listened to these things called records, and I was just fascinated by these giant discs, which are kind of small now, to be honest.
And there's stuff on both sides. That's what amazes a lot of kids. You play it for them, they go, how does that make music? And then you say, wait, I'll turn it over. Wait, there's stuff on the other side? But now you know all that.
Yeah,
And you knew how to handle records, too.
yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't let you do it.
Though this does need to be cleaned, I will tell you. Do we have a record cleaning machine somewhere?
Of course we have a record cleaning machine. Where do you think you are?
Well, she'd hold these things up or down, I should say, instead of up, and it looked really big to me at the time. It looked like this big, but in reality, it's like this.
So you brought me a CD that you compiled for me, and you've got Eno on there,
Yep.
and you've got Radiohead, and what else is on there?
I've got David Bowie, I've got Howlin' Wolf, I've got Miles Davis, I've got John Coltrane, I've got Kali Uchis, I have Blur. The one thing that he probably wants me to say is Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band.
Yeah. I'll play you an original pressing of that.
Yeah, Trailmaster
You will
Replica.
play that. And so, how did the system sound to you? Was it okay?
More than okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if we installed my system in this room, it probably would just be it probably sound like an iPhone speaker in this room. What an iPhone speaker would sound like at my house is what my system would sound like in this room. It's just like Panasonic home theater and audio technical.
So now these are very big speakers, and it's not a big room, but it still sounded good, right?
The reason why these are big speakers is that they are made so that they can give you the most accurate representation of the music. That's why they make it so big. It's not to make it loud, because there are speakers that are meant to be loud. This is for quality, and even if it's this tall or whatever, it still has multiple speakers on it. You've got the tweeters and the woofers and the
And where
mid-range.
did when you watched the music, where did it set up the image? It wasn't up at the ceiling, right? It was right in front of you.
Yeah, it was right in front of me, and it didn't even sound like it was coming out of the speakers, because the speakers are kind of slanted in, so it almost felt like the sound was just coming through the air in the middle. I didn't even place it at the speakers for the most part.
That's
It
the
was
idea.
just
The idea is to make the speaker
floating.
disappear. That's right. That's the idea.
Yeah.
If you hear the speaker, something's not right. So now, we have a lot of records to play, don't we? So
Yes.
we probably should get back to that.
Yeah.
So I thank you for coming, and I know that you will continue with this interest in records throughout your life, and it will enrich your life and bring a lot of pleasure to you.
And when I get to his age, I will still have the records that I listen to now. And it's not just going to be like I have nothing. Because I know that everyone else I know, and most people, are probably just going to end up with nothing.
They're streaming, and then when they finish streaming, they got nothing.
They're not even streaming off of Tidal Hi-Fi.
That's right.
I use Tidal Hi-Fi because I've got the Third Man Records Vault subscription, so I can get it all in one for much less than both of them separate. But they probably wouldn't be. Alright. Sorry for my words getting mixed up.
No, you're fine.
My mentality.
What is your mentality?
Is that I want to get good sound out of it, and I want to make sure I enjoy it the most. Their mentality is, well, why do I want to pay for a song that I'm only going to listen to for a month and get all the little details out of it? But they might not realize that they might end up listening to it for years, decades. If they live for another 100 years and they're still listening to it, they'll listen to it for a century, potentially. So, they decide that, I'm not going to pay for it because I don't think it really means a lot to them, and they just don't really care at this point.
And then in 40 years, they can't go back and pull a record out of their shelf and go, I know where I was when I bought this record. I know how old I was. I know what I was thinking. I know where I lived. And all these memories now come flooding back. They won't have that experience.
They'll just remember
nothing. They'll remember nothing.
They'll remember nothing, and if they do remember a little bit of the song, they'll be like, oh yeah, didn't it have a music video where he was wearing that extravagant costume or something?
You know when they'll be reminded of it? They'll be reminded of it when they're really old and PBS is doing fundraising, and and they have these people on and say, yes, this was the music from 2045. Remember this? Now we're going to play 25 minutes of it and beg you for money for a while.
I know, it's going to be like, and now you can get the super deluxe edition of Damn by Kendrick Lamar only if you pay PBS $1,000 right. Because we want the fundraising money, even though you can get the actual box set, only the box set, for about $85.
But it's for
Buy it today.
But it's for a good cause, though.
Yeah,
because the government's not going to fund anything anymore after a while. Okay,
yeah.
Well, listen, that was great. Thanks so much for coming. And now we're going to play some music, and you have to go now. You can't stay for the music, okay? So.
Yeah, copyright reasons we don't want to get sued.
That's right.